Hey guys, what's up? DeRaze here, and I'm back with another tutorial, and I'll be talking about anonymous functions in this video. So get started. So because we are going to cover a lot of ground over here, and anonymous functions are pretty important, and I'm pretty sure you've been using it. Even if you don't know that you've been using it, don't worry, because we'll be covering that in this video. So anyways, I'll get to the actual definition. So as you know, anonymous functions are nothing but functions which are not named. So nameless functions are all used in JavaScript, so you might not have observed it, or you may have observed it. Nonetheless, it is pretty important to use anonymous functions in functional JavaScript programming. So how anonymous functions are useful and all that I'll be discussing over here point by point. I have listed it down so that I do not forget while explaining on the video. So anyways, let's get started. So first one is the direct consequence of treating functions as first class variables. So anonymous functions comes from this treating functions as first class variables, as I was saying in the previous tutorial. So as we use them as first class variables, we are able to pass them around as we wish, and pass them around, inject them into another function like we did in higher order functions. So all this is useful to create anonymous functions. So as I was saying, unnamed functions are nothing but anonymous functions. A variable name isn't used, so this results in a small advantage. It saves a space. So space is not required by the variable anymore, and it is used when defining logic on the spot. So how is that done? We'll be seeing in this code that I'll be providing. Nonetheless, let's go ahead. So we have used when we have dynamically declared at runtime. So functions are created and declared at runtime as we provide them on the code. So there is no reason for it to compile the function before and then run it. So it's pretty simple. And then further going ahead, we have the point on declared using the function operator inside the function declaration. So what is that? I'll talk about it in a bit. And we also have the another point called can be created using. Very sorry, I have not typed it properly over here. Anyways, can be created using the function operator, not the function declaration. So what these are if you know JavaScript pretty well, so you can skip 1 minute ahead. Otherwise, you can go through over this simple explanation. Functions in JavaScript can be created using two ways. So two methods can be used. One is the function declaration. The function declaration works like this. So you give a function essentially, and then you pass a name. You can give it any kind of name. So you say yellow, and then you pass you put up brackets, and you can pass any kind of arguments that you would want to, x, y. And then inside you can give the logic of the function, so what it does and all that. So you can say x plus y is you can say variable. When you put var, it actually makes it a local variable. So you can say var b is equal to x plus y, and then you can directly pass this d, and you can return this d back to the function so that it can be printed anywhere. So let's see what happens when we inject this function with two values. So I'll quickly type over here. So I'll give it box2, which I created a division element. So inner HTML equal to, so let's say yellow, let's say 4,5. So let's see what happens. Alright, so as you can see, we have the result over here, which is 9. So the function is called yellow over here, and we have created the function using the function declaration method. There is another way of giving a function. So that will be let's say function. Let's give a variable. We can call this variable anything we want. So we call it yellow variable, and then we pass a function, and then we can actually name the function here as well. But for an anonymous function, we do not give a name. So this is the function operator. So function operator works in this way, and you give brackets, and then essentially you give the logic. So the logic is the same. So variable d is equal to x plus y, and return d. So even though you see the name called yellow variable over here, it is not the function's name, it is actually the name of the variable that stores the value of d. So what you have to do is that you have to pass yellow variable. Before that, I'll just quickly copy this so that I can inject it and show it to you live over here. So let's say yellow variable, and then we can wait a second, we need to pass this with x and y. So we can say 3, 4. Alright, so as you can see, we have the value 7 over here, and that is what this does. So we can quickly tweak around with our a lot of these values, and we can play around with it, and we can find out what happens when we use what. So all these can be done on while using anonymous functions. So they're pretty easy, pretty cool. You can work around with it. And I'll delete this quickly and run it again. Alright, so I have deleted the initial statement over there because it was clashing with the inner HTML injection over here. So we should not give the same inner HTML injections. Anyways, as you can see, when I pass the document.getElement by ID and give it the yellow variable 3, 4, we can see that we have the value of 7. So this is how you work with anonymous functions. And if you want to work with the non-anonymous named function, which is called yellow function, you have to just pass the values in this way, 4, 3, and you again get the 7 over here, but we are using a yellow function. So please note this down, guys. We are actually not naming the function over here. This is a variable which is called yellow variable, which stores the value of d as passed by the function. So the function in itself is an anonymous function, and that can be visualized better by the piece of code that I've written over here. And let's move forward to that, and I'll quickly reset this. So you can look over this code in the through the link that I will leave below in the description, and it will have all the functions. Just make sure that you're removing the comments to run it. So anyways, I'll run this code so that you can understand better how anonymous functions are used. So anyways, going forward, this is the function I've created before the video. So what this function does is that the function is called add, the actual function. So this is a named function, but inside it has 2 anonymous functions, and there's a function over here. As you can see, this function is being returned by the previous function, the first one. So what this function does is that it takes it takes an argument called second, and this function in turn again takes another function, an anonymous function, and over here it takes the argument of third. So what this does is that the logic of this function over here, the third one, the one inside, the most inside one, what it's doing is that it's returning the value of first plus second plus third, all the 3 values combined back to the second function, and the second function returns this value to the first one, which is called add. So as you can see, we have a one named function, but we have 2 unnamed functions over here. So that is how anonymous functions work, and as you can see, this is a very clean way to write codes, and you don't necessarily have to name any of these 2 functions with anything. So further ahead, we can see that there is a line over here. I have written this line, document.getElement by ID box2 dot inner HTML 314, and what it does is that it adds all the 3 numbers that we pass over here. So that is the essential working of this function. So as you can see, I have passed 3, 1, 4 as the 3 arguments. So once I run it, we have 8, which is 3 plus 1 plus 4, which is nothing but 8. So you can tweak other values. So I can put 10 over here, and you can see that it is showing 14. So I can instead of 1, I can say 2, and we have 3 plus 2 plus 10 is 15. So as you can see, we have 2 anonymous functions helping us over here, and that is how exactly we can use anonymous functions and not name them and save space, as well as increase the readability, and it increases the convenience. So let's get back quickly to the list I've provided over here. The function declarations can't be used, they require the function to have a name. So as I was saying, anonymous functions can only be created using the function operator, but not the function declaration as provided in the 7th point. I'll leave all these points in the description below, and also you can find them in the comments in the fiddle link, which I'll provide in the description below as well. Also provides convenience when the function need not be named. So what I'm trying to say is that when you don't need to find a name for the function, and when you're really focused on a very large project, a lot of functions need not be named. So it becomes tough to keep track of all the names, even if you name it somewhat intuitively understandable. So what this happens is that what happens over there is that you bypass this step, and it allows you this convenience of not naming it at all. So that is found in functional programming as an effective method. And people use these anonymous functions very well, and they encourage everyone to do that. So I'm encouraging you as well to go ahead and use anonymous functions. Anyways, last 3 points, guys. It is used as an argument for other functions, which is very common. So as you can see, we have not actually passed it as an argument over here, but you can pass it. You can pass any function over here inside the return function bracket. So instead of second, you can create another function which returns another value, and this function need not be named. So that is how again it's an anonymous function. So not usually accessible after creating it. So of course, because it's not named, you don't know how to access it. And also it is useful in creating closures, and closures will be discussed in another video, guys. So I'll be coming back with much more stuff. So stay tuned to my channel and keep watching it. Subscribe to my channel and also share it with your friends. Give a like if you like this. And also give me your comments, what you think about this and all that, so that I'll be able to understand what you would like me to make tutorials on. Anyways, guys, go ahead and experiment with various things on JS Fiddle, and I would be really happy if I find comments on my videos about the fiddles that you have created, and I'll take a look and I'll give a good comment on it as usual. And also please tell your friends about this. Subscribe to my channel again. Alright, thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you in the other videos. Bye bye.